welcome on back to the Solution Talk. We are on episode 2, and I am so excited that we are here. If we have not had the honor to meet yet, my name is Jamie Summers, and last week, if you caught it, I did make you a promise. I told you that we were going to talk about the 5 nutritional gaps that 90 to 98% of Americans are walking around with every single day. Kind of want to wrap a little bit of perspective around the 5 gaps so that we can have a better understanding of why they exist in the first place. See, when we realize that we live in a time right now where over 73% of our U.S. food supply is ultra processed, that means that it is not real food. Like you're going to the grocery store, you're walking the aisles, and 73% of what is happening in that grocery store is ultra freaking processed, right? It's engineered, it's formulated in a lab, it is designed to taste incredible, but not necessarily do incredible things for our health and for our body. So when your body doesn't recognize it and it doesn't know what to do with it, it is going to either store it, it's going to create inflammation, and it is no wonder why we feel the way that we feel. And even if we are eating healthy, we're eating whole foods majority of the time, we have an uphill battle, my friends, right? Nutrient density is a real thing, and the food is just not what it used to be. I told you about the orange study on the last one, right? Where our grandparents can eat one orange, but then that study, I think it was done in 2012. I mean, you'd have to eat 8 oranges back then to get the same amount of vitamin A that our grandparents got. And we're in 2026, my friend. I don't even want to know how many oranges you'd have to eat in order to get the same amount, right? So even when you look at your plate and you tell yourself, like, I'm doing all the right things, you very well could be doing all the right things, and soil depletion is not giving you all the right things, right? You got processing, you got the distance that food is traveling before it even hits your grocery store and then it hits your plate. I mean, all of this adds up in a negative way for our health. We have a problem, right? And our body is going to be the best doctor in town. It's always talking to us, but the problem is we've been so freaking busy chasing complicated solutions that we stop listening to the simple signals that it's been sending us for years. Your energy, your sleep, your mood, your metabolism, your immunity, your hormones, all of it is going to start at that cellular level, and we are only as healthy as our cells. And when our cells are not getting what they need, it's going to show up in ways we have just gotten used to calling normal. Like, we need to stop normalizing not feeling good. So let's talk about what's actually causing that. So the first gap I'm going to talk about is the whole grains. And I'm not talking about the bread aisle because there ain't nothing whole about them in that grocery store. I'm sorry, but this was purposely removed from our food. Like those whole grain oils, sterols, lipids. This is a gap that was created on purpose. They stripped all of that out of our food so that it would just last longer on a shelf. And we have been paying for it ever since. This is the biggest gap of them all. Of all 5 I'm going to talk about today, the biggest gap. 98% of people are not getting enough true whole grains. 98%. And that shows up as low energy that makes no sense for how much sleep you got. It shows up as unwanted weight gain that just literally will not move no matter what you're doing. A body that just feels like it's running on fumes, right? Hormones are all out of whack. So unless you're milling your own grains and controlling every single ingredient, or you're taking the world's first whole grain concentrate to get what your cells actually need, sorry to break it to you, friend, you're probably in that 98% deficient category. I mean, that's where I was. It's where most people are. So the next one is going to be our fruits and vegetables. And let's be so for real right now. I mean, when is the last time you actually finished all of your vegetables on your plate? And if you love your vegetables, I'm going to ask you, okay, well, how about your fruits, right? We all know that we're not getting enough. And that started back when we were all kids. I mean, I remember my mom yelling at me to make sure I finished all my vegetables before I left that dinner table. I mean, nothing has changed. We've just grown up a little bit, and now we don't have anyone yelling at us anymore to definitely eat them. But It's not just about eating fruits and vegetables. It's about getting a consistent, wide variety of them. Like, we're not talking about eating your faves every day. We're talking about getting all of what we need. And over 90% of people are not hitting the recommendations every single day. Over 90%. And the reason this matters so much is those fruits and vegetables are powerful antioxidants. Specifically, they contain what are called carotenoids. Those are found in all your bright, colorful, your red, your oranges, your deep greens, and all these definitely do great things for our health. They protect our immune system at the cellular level. And you know that person in your life right now who just can't catch a break? They're always sick, they're always run down, there's always something that they just can't shake. Well, a big piece of that is probably this gap. I wonder how many fruits and vegetables they're getting. And let's not forget about the orange study, right? Even if we are eating a ton, we're not getting what we used to get back in the day. Okay, and the next one that we're going to talk about, it's a little bit of a fishy situation. I did tell you that I'm a nerd, right? Here we are. We're going to talk about omega-3s because not a lot of people love fish. They don't want to cook it. They don't want to smell it. They don't want to chew it. Some are out there, rocking it out. Some are having fish sticks, living their best life. Not the best choice, but best life. That's always important. I'm an 80-20 girl. We remember that, okay? 80% healthy, lean, and clean. 20% live your life, and don't you apologize for it if you're eating those fish sticks. Eat them, right? But we have to make sure that we are getting in what our body needs every single month as well. So we should be having at least 2 servings of fatty wild-caught fish every single week. Not fried, wild caught, and over 90% of people are not hitting that. Omega-3s help drive down inflammation in the body. And not to mention, our omega-3 to our omega-6 ratio is so out of whack these days because the standard American diet is loaded with omega-6 from processed oils, and we're getting almost nothing to balance it out. That imbalance is doing some damage, your triglycerides, your blood pressure, your heart health, your brain health, your joint health. Omegas are very, very powerful. When omega-3s are low, you're going to feel it. Stiffness in your joints, brain fog, slow recovery, energy that swings all over the place. This one is definitely a big deal, and most people, they don't even think about it because they're like, I don't want fish. I'm out. Not going to eat it. We need it. I'm going to tell you about something that you don't have to cook and you don't have to chew. So you'll love me later. All right, the next one, vitamins and minerals. I mean, how many of us are taking vitamins because we genuinely know, we need to do our body good? So we're going to grab whatever's on sale. A lot of us probably started with the OG Flintstone vitamins. If you remember, then, we should be friends because we're probably in that same age bracket. I only wanted the red one. I made sure that I had my mom grab that bottle off that fridge before my brother can grab what he wanted. Sorry, not sorry. But here is what I want to say about that. Most supplements on the market are synthetic, bottom of the barrel ingredients. And here is something that changed everything for me when I learned that. If the supplements you are taking, if they're not formulated under a pharmaceutical license, then you're lucky to get 20 to 80% of what that label actually says inside of your body. 20 to 80%. And we wonder why we don't feel good, right? A pharmaceutical license means that they hold themselves to the same standard as drugs. 100% of what is on the label is 100% in the bottle. I mean, you want to know where your money is going? I want 100% of 100%, 100% of the time, right? There's nothing more expensive than a product that doesn't work. And if the supplements people were already taking were actually working, the 80% of people who already supplement would not show up in the stat that says 92% of people are still deficient. I mean, that number says everything right there. So keep that in mind. Okay, so let's talk about a buzzword right now, and that is protein. But I'm going to talk about complete protein with all 22 amino acids. I love that we are paying attention to getting in our grams. But I will tell you, my friend, it is not just about the grams. It is about what those grams actually break down to, and that is our amino acid profile. And the amino acid profile, oh my gosh, the amino acid profile is what is going to determine the real quality of our protein. I mean, I want you to think about it like you're making your favorite recipe and you realize halfway through it that you're missing a few ingredients, whether it's a key ingredient or it's one small one that just kind of ties the whole dish together. Without it, I mean, the recipe's not going to be what it's supposed to be. It's not going to taste how you thought it would. And that's exactly how we need to think about our amino acid profile, right? There are 22 amino acids involved in human nutrition. 9 of them your body cannot make, so you're going to have to get that from food. And the other 13, well, those help those 9 work at their very, very best. So all 22, not some, not most. We need all of them. And protein only stays in the body, my friend, for about 24 to 36 hours before it needs to be replenished. So consistency definitely matters just as much as our completeness. So here is another thing, food for thought, right? We probably need to put a little more grams in our breakfast, my friend, because study came out and said that the average American hits about 13 grams of protein at breakfast. A lot of people are actually skipping breakfast too, but that's another conversation for another day. But average American is hitting about 13 grams of protein at breakfast, and they are heavy loading it around dinner, around 38 grams. Well, when we start our day skewed like that, we're starting our day under supported. And I want you to think about it, because if we are wondering why we are crashing at 3 p.m., it might have a little bit to do with the blood roller coaster that's happening inside of our body. And most of us built it without even realizing it. So keep that in mind. We need to keep them a little more balanced. So here is what I want you to focus on. If I can give you the biggest piece of advice, start simple and remove the overwhelm. Simple starts in the grocery store. And I know that I told you that 73% of our food supply is ultra processed. And yes, that is true, but here is another thing that is true. I didn't say 100% of our food is ultra processed, right? So that is a huge win. We got to focus on the positives in life, right? Control what you can control. And if you really want to change your life, you're going to have to change some of your choices. And you know that I'm right, because I'm talking to myself and I know I'm right. And the easiest way to navigate the grocery store without getting overwhelmed on is this healthy or is this not healthy is every single time you grab something and you put it into your cart, I want you to ask yourself 2 questions. The number 1 question is, did it have a mother? And if your answer is no, it didn't have a mother, then you're going to ask yourself the second question. Then was it grown in the ground? And if the answer is still no, my friend, well, then most likely what you are holding is ultra processed. And if you ask yourself those 2 questions and you're like, well, I don't know. Did it have a mother? And I don't know. Was it grown in the ground? And you don't know? It's probably ultra processed. So let me help a friend out. Now, here is the thing. Linda, you know that those Oreos were not grown in the ground. Hi, I'm Linda. I'm not. My name is Jamie. But friends, everyone has their vice. Oreos, those are my vice. And those are ultra freaking processed. Those don't do anything good for my health. But they taste so damn good. I hate it, right? So with that being said, when we choose the ultra processed things, more so than not, we have to understand that that's not going to help us get any closer to our goals. Now, if it's you living in your 20% live my best life and don't apologize for it, by all means, grab it. Live your life. A little perspective for the grocery cart that I like to do when I'm shopping, my live my life and don't you apologize for it. That's the front of the cart where your toddlers sit. Once that's full, and I don't mean mountain full, once that's full, I'm out. And that cart, the big part of the cart, that better be a lot more full than my 20%. And if not, I got to self-check myself, right? So that is what I'm talking about. So if you have some serious health goals that you're trying to reach, then make sure you focus your attention on that 80% and keep it whole. Did it have a mother? Was it grown in the ground? That is what we should focus on every single time we go to the grocery store. And you know what? If it would be super helpful for you, I can put together a shopping guide, right? A little free guide that you can print out and you can take with you, and not the kind where you're standing in the grocery store and you're looking at this list of like all these healthy things and you don't even know what the heck they are because you can't pronounce them and you're like, how do I put this into a meal? We don't need to like overthink healthy. We need to stop that in this day and age, right? So we're going to keep it simple. We could put together a list of just that, things that had a mother, things that were growing in the ground, some red flag ingredients that we should probably be aware of that we know, you know what, if I look at this, that's going back on the shelf. So I can definitely put that together and I'll throw it in my link in bio. So keep an eye out for that. That would be helpful for you. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up with some solutions. Okay, so obviously we have our solution on how we're going to shop in the grocery store, and that is just, it's going to bring so much calm to your grocery list. Like, there's no doubt about that. But before I go into the solutions that I have found to fill in the gaps, I need to lead with this first because it would not be the whole truth without it. There's a lot of good products out there, there's a lot of bad products out there, but supplementation is very, very important. It's got to fill in the gaps that we're not getting in our grocery store nowadays. But there are other gaps in our life that we have to show up for when we don't take a step back and realize that the work has so much to do with the full story, the whole story, right? And protecting our health definitely is going to take some work. Now, it doesn't mean that it's hard work. It doesn't mean that it's easy work. It just means that it's work, right? So we got to keep this thing simple. You know, losing body fat is going to take work, and putting on muscle is going to take work, and maintaining your results is going to take work. But the flip side of that is also true. Putting on body fat takes work. Losing muscle takes work. And being stuck in a plateau also takes work. It's all work. We just want to make sure that we're working in the right direction for what's important to us. The truth is, total health can never be bottled, supplemented, or sold, period, the end. But supplementation is one key pillar of the whole story. So you got to get the whole story right. And here's the thing, my friend, you have way more control over the results that you are going to have than you give yourself credit for. It's the choices that you're showing up for every single day. Like, you can't outwork your fork. And the truth is, you can't even get everything that you genuinely nutritionally need onto your fork anymore. And that's what these 5 gaps are telling us. So do you need to fill in the gaps that we can no longer get easily from our grocery store? 100%. Yes. 1,000%. Yes. But we have to do the other parts too. When we simplify what we genuinely nutritionally need, our body is going to do what it needs to do. See, my core belief is I believe that the whole point of bettering our health is to keep it better. And you should feel great on your journey. I want you to know that. Like, you should feel awesome, not run down with no energy and can't even do a push-up because programs have you eating like 900 calories. It drives me insane. Like, I probably made a really weird face right there, but at least I didn't say adult words. So progress, right? But that's the goal, so that we are not going through this without how do I word this? So we're not going towards the road to health with like this restriction ball so far off to the left that like when we let go of it, we're going to swing and it's just going to be like this unrealistic yo-yo, right? Unrealistic programs and unrealistic products create an unrealistic maintain. Like, it just does, they don't go together, right? I need you to remember that. Unrealistic programs and unrealistic products make an unrealistic maintain. And the whole point is to maintain your better health. Like, if you can't do something for the rest of your life, how do we expect to keep the result of that thing for the rest of our life? And when we're looking for something that could actually help, when I was looking to help close these 5 gaps, I had a very clear standard. Very clear. Whole food derived, human food chain ingredients, bioavailable, bioactive, proven in human clinical studies. That is rare in this industry. I need you to know that. And also having peer-reviewed science that I could go find and read myself. I thought what I was looking for literally didn't exist, right? And then in December 2019, I found it. I started with 2 products that together addressed all 5 of those critical gaps: whole grains, fruits and vegetables, omega-3s, vitamins and minerals, and complete protein, whole food concentrates from the human food chain, not from a lab that has synthetic ingredients, real food in a concentrated form, with the clinical proof to back every single bit of it up. It's literally farm to table. Blew me away. Literally blew me away. And I started later than I should have. I'll tell you that. I did not say yes until November 2020. I mean, I think I mentioned it on our last chat that I've been burned in this industry. Like I've seen a lot, and I'm over the noise, right? I just wanted to simplify my life and just do what is going to work. So I researched my face off. I said yes November 2020, and I've not missed a day since. Like it literally has been one of the best decisions to add into my life. And each one of those solutions is going to get their very own episode because they absolutely deserve just that. Like your face is going to fall right off because it is that impactful. Like it's insane what these products do. And it's whole food done right, And that's what I love. But before I let you go, I know that some of you are going to be like, oh my gosh, just freaking tell me, what are the solutions? And like, granted, I probably should have paused and like done that on this episode, but here is what I have to tell you. I literally dropped a episode very quietly on this podcast. It was actually the first episode that I ever dropped. This is actually my third, but I'm deeming it as my second because the very first one laid the foundation of everything that helps with filling in the 5 critical gaps. So you can go ahead and check that out because if you're like, I want to know these answers like yesterday, I hear you. I've been you. And I got you. So that podcast is actually called The Proven Solution Talk. I go full cool science nerd. I break a lot of everything down in just 12 minutes. Like it's super quick. And the solutions, everything is in there. We talk about the 5 critical gaps. We talk about what they are doing inside the body a little bit more. And then the proven solutions and what those are proven to do inside your body. You're going to even see some pretty incredible testimonials that yours truly had an honor in being in the trenches with, helping people grab a hold of the goals that they set for themselves. Like, it's so great. But we keep things full circle here. So everything is in the show notes if you need that. If you want to go listen to the Proven Solution Talk, literally the quiet first episode, it's there. Go listen. Then come on back here because we literally are just getting started. Next week, I'm going to shift gears just a little bit because I did tell you that mindset is my jam. And mindset plays so much more of a role in our overall health than we probably give it credit for. So we're going to talk about that because I truly believe that before anything else can change in our life, we need to change the way that we think about our health. That has to change first. We have to simplify it, but we got to get raw and real with it. Okay, we're going to hold up some mirrors and it's going to be really, really good perspective. So I literally can't wait. I will let you know, little teaser, I am going to tie in the whole grain gap in the next episode as well. Because if we can chat about mindset and then we can really chat about the whole grain gap, I really believe that that is going to be one of the most important episodes that we can listen to. It's going to reframe everything moving forward. Well, with that being said, today was so much fun. I hope that it added value to your life. And if it did, feel free to share this with someone that you value in your life because somewhere out there is a person who has been normalizing not feeling good for way too long. And it just needs to be a place where somebody can just shake them and be like, you know what? It doesn't have to be that way, right? You don't need to feel that way. We need to stop normalizing not feeling good and we need to grab a hold of some solutions because there is a reason for why we feel the way that we do, right? And there's also solution. And a lot of them we can control in the now of our life. So with that being said, keep an eye out for that free guide in the show notes. That is going to be, I think, super beneficial to grab a hold of. I'm going to keep it free, which is great. Great for you, right? And I'll see you next week. I'm super, super excited to chat mindset, chat a little bit more about the whole grain gap. and start changing some lives and changing some perspective and grabbing a hold of what we can so that we can make those changes that actually matter in our life. So with that, I'll see you next week. And just a little friendly reminder, the only BS you're ever going to get from me is my degree. Okay. Have a healthy day. We'll see ya. Bye.